Okay, this is the electric meter. It's at the front of the house, which is the facing east wall. It should be sealed on 3 sides, on the sides and the top, to help prevent moisture from getting inside. The conduit, the main electric supply conduit, the power's coming below grade. It should have a sleeve on it so that it can slide, because as the ground settles, the house moves, it prevents this from coming disconnected up here. It'll roll right up and down the sleeve. The grounding rod should be buried. It's supposed to be 8 feet. I don't know if it's 8 feet, but I know that every bit of that grounding rod should be buried. And then we've got 2 grounds. We have 2 electric service panels, load centers, breaker boxes, call them what you will. But this, all right. So we only have a single ground for each of the panel. We do not have a double ground. You should have 2 grounds within 6 feet of each other. Coming along, or maybe we got a UFER in the garage. I don't see it. I don't see a UFER in the garage. UFER. We're grounds to the foundation. It's a very popular method these days. Inside the garage, east interior wall, you've got both of these panel cabinets. See this? This is handwriting. All right? The International Residential Code and the manufacturer thinks that this should be printed. See where it says danger? That's printing. See where it says square D? That's printing. See where it says HOMC420C? That's printing. This is handwriting. Some people call it block printing or whatever, but anyway, no, it's not supposed to be handwritten like that. It's supposed to be printed. Coming on along, we're not supposed to have more than 1/8 of an inch gap between the cabinet and the wall. Oh, bud, that's new construction. They can't do that. Well, they did it over here. They did it over here just fine. I know they can do that. They didn't do it over here. They sure didn't. Nothing about these cabinets is they're screwed into place. The manufacturer thinks that that should be nailed into place. I've got instructions. I'm going to bake a link to the instructions in your inspection report. See, screws are faster and tighter. We get that. But screws do not have the same shear strength that nails do. If this garage would experience a tornado, for example, and your garage got blowed up, you've already got a bad day. I get that. But if this was nailed into place, then these boxes would stay with the structural member and it wouldn't be flopping around, sparking, so that the first responders would have to step over them to come in and save somebody. I know, it's just a small improvement in safety, but it is an improvement in safety. It is about safety. That's what it's about. Okay, your cabinets, see these dead fronts right here? Why are they there? Oh, I get it. Because the wires, it tells you how far back to put the wires. That's why they're there. The wires aren't supposed to be touching the cabinet cover. If they sparked or whatever, I got it. This is insulating paint. But if they sparked or whatever, then the cabinet gets energized. You touch the cabinet, you get electrocuted. Those are supposed to be pushed back. Now the manufacturer says, and I know this is a little bit, but I'm getting picky, but on this in regard, but you're not supposed to have paint inside the cabinet. That basically voided the manufacturer's warranty, by the way. You got a big old open knockout right there. You think that'd compromise the fire blocking? I think it compromised the fire blocking just fine. You got one over here, came in here, fine. One over here, came in, fine. They didn't knock this one out. They knocked this out. If there's a fire in the cabinet, it can jump up that hole. This is called bundling. This is called bundling. You're supposed to have all your wires come through separate little slots. All right? No more than 2 at a time. See all these little twist outs, these little knockouts right here? Those are for these wires. No more than 2 at a time. Now, even the illustration that I have is somewhat apologetic. Getting this corrected was probably going to be more trouble than it's worth. I have this at my house. My house is not for sale. You shouldn't have to live like me, but it's very common. But this code infraction is called bundling. And it is a code infraction, by the way. It is. I notice here that we got lots of 15 amp breakers. That's just information for you. That's just information for you. In the future, they're all going to be 20s, but these are for lights, and 15 amps is okay. You know what's not okay with these breakers? Not a single breaker is AFCI. Not a single breaker. Almost all of these breakers for your living room, for your kitchen, garage, almost all of these breakers are supposed to be AFCI, including the clothes dryer breaker, including that one. They're supposed to be AFCI. Protected. Emphasis on the protection. That's the state of Texas code. They don't require that out here in the hillbilly land. No, it's required. In fact, an electrician's license requires him to operate to the most current, to perform, to work in the most current version of the code, electrical code available to him. That's what he's supposed to do. Did I make that up? No, I didn't make that up. 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 No, those are codes. You want to know another code? See all these white hots? This is supposed to be wrapped with black tape. See this neutral right here? It's wrapped with white tape. If you don't know that's the neutral, you do not belong in this cabinet. I get that. But you're supposed to wrap it with white tape, and they did. And see all these white hots? They're supposed to be wrapped with black tape, and they didn't. And if you don't know that's hot, again, you do not belong in this cabinet. I get that. But it's still supposed to be wrapped. So I didn't make that up. So what do we learn? We learned that our cabinets are hand labeled. We learned that our cabinets were screwed into place. We learned that we have more than 1/8 of an inch on the south cabinet. We learned that we've got bundling and we got paint in the cabinet. We learned that we've got white hots. We learned that our bonding location is not labeled, and we learned that we only have a single ground for each of the cabinets. And the grounding rod's not properly buried, and that we do not have a sleeve on the electric supply conduit, and that the meter is not sealed on 3 sides, and that the wires touch the cabinet cover. That's what we learned. Oh, and that we got an open knockout in this south cabinet. So the south cabinet is unique from the north cabinet in that it does have the gap and it does have the open knockout. And then the deficiencies are universal for both of them.